Okay, so really what we're gonna do today is we're gonna take what you've been doing for the past 5 days and we're gonna add one more step to it. Okay, so what do we know about congruent figures? Okay, we're the same size and we're the same shape. And so what did you say? Each measurements are equal, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even tell you what page. I just started teaching. Yep.
155.
155. I apologize.
I didn't do it. I gave it to him too. I told him my page. No, I actually gave it to Brandon.
The 2 days.
Okay. So if we can prove that two triangles are indeed congruent, then we know their corresponding parts are going to be congruent. Okay, so this is one of the reasons we're going to need to use CPCTC. Anybody want to guess what it means?
Corresponding parts, corresponding.
Okay, so I will give you corresponding parts. And I'll give you triangle. Nope.
Corresponding parts congruent.
Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. If we can show that two triangles are congruent, then we know this side and this side, since they correspond, they're congruent. This angle and this angle, since they correspond, they're congruent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I'm staring at everybody. We just made eye contact. We made it awkward. See, I can make eye contact with Alexa. She doesn't make it awkward. So basically, do you really need a pencil? No. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like we did the past 5 days. We're going to prove two triangles congruent. Then we have one more step. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Maybe we're trying to prove that two sides are congruent or two angles are congruent. Those of you like still open to your homework, those last two problems that I didn't assign you, they're asking you to prove like two sides that are congruent or two angles that are congruent. I couldn't assign those to you because we hadn't talked about CPCTC yet.
So this is a Friday. Can we play?
Okay, under the notes section, I want you to write this information. Given angle F is congruent.
I actually do need a pencil. Oh. You are talking.
is our problem. Give you some time, write it down.
So with the, like, ASA, would it be CCTV now?
So our very last step is gonna be CPCTC. But our second to last step needs to be one of our congruent triangle statements, AAS, SSS, HL, whichever one. So that's our second to last step, and then our last step is congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent, okay? Did I say that too fast, Ben? All right, so our statements and our reasons. Okay, let's go ahead and write in the given information, and if you aren't in the habit yet, I don't know how you wouldn't be, please make sure that you are marking your picture. So we know 1 and 2 are congruent, and we know that F and M are congruent. Whose is that? Is that like somebody's computer or phone? Okay, so first of all, I would like somebody to tell me how we are gonna show these two triangles are congruent. Harvey. What? Like, are we gonna use angle, angle, side, 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 side?
PL is congruent to PL.
You're saying that PL is congruent to PL? How do we know that? Okay, so right now we have a pair of angles, a second pair of angles, a pair of sides. And we know that our side is not in between our two angles, which means we can say triangle, I'm gonna call the first one FLP. What would we call the second one? No. MPL. And our reasoning would be angle, angle, side. Now, since we know that our triangles are congruent, notice how FP and ML are corresponding sides. So now we can say FP is congruent to ML because of CPCTC. CPCTC.
Ooh. You know the one that has them, like you spell the abbreviation wrong. Will you get points off?
I'll know what you mean.
Between them.
Wait, so you're gonna do the angle, side, angle, or like side, angle, side, and then.
Once I know that two triangles are congruent, then I know all of the corresponding pieces are congruent. So I prove the triangle's congruent, then I could say, ooh, this pair of sides, we know that they're congruent because they're a part of two triangles that are congruent.
So to make that, so to make the thing, so to make to make, okay, what, I'm getting confused, I can't. Okay, so if you, okay, I can't focus. I can't focus, okay, so if, okay, see? So if, oh, no, I can't think. Yeah, okay, so you're saying that the triangles, the triangles are congruent.
Sam,
The triangles are congruent
yes,
through the A's and S's, right?
yes.
So by saying that you need to, and it's asking for you to prove the sides, right? That
Yep.
these two are congruent. So you're saying since these triangles are congruent through the A's and S's, you just use CPCTC to make it what it's trying to prove.
So because I said these two triangles are congruent, I could say, oh, now I know that angles 3 and 4 are congruent. I also know that FL and MP are congruent. I also know that PF and LM are, I mean, we could go on and on and on, okay? We're only asking for one set of sides, but once we know that triangles are congruent, we have 3 pairs of sides and 3 pairs of angles that we know are congruent, whether they told us in the beginning or not. Okay?
I was whispering in his ear.
Sweet nothings.
We have a lot of
Trying to guilt trip her?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay,
What are you trying to do?
let's go, just to save us some hand cramping. Let's go to numbers 9 and 10 in your packet. Okay, number 9 is basically just like the one we just did, so we're not gonna go through that one, but I wanna go through number 10. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to make your little table for statements and reasons. Okay, glad I could help.
What is that angle? That's not marked.
So that angle's
What'd you say?
that angle's here, right?
Oh, why didn't D get, that's weird. All right. So what I want to know is, first of all, what do you think we're going to need to use to show the triangles congruent?
Hypotenuse what? Definition of perpendicular. Then reflection.
Then S
Okay,
Then
HL.
I agree.
Then C.
That would
Okay.
be as congruent to D.
I just Dr. Strange this thing.
okay. So first of all, we know that since we have perpendicular lines, we know that angle ACB and angle ACD are right angles. How do we know that? Definition of perpendicular. Now, if you're saying we can use hypotenuse leg, the first thing that needs to be in our proof is that the triangles no. Hypotenuse leg only works if we have what kind of triangle? Okay, so triangle ACB and triangle ACD are right triangles. Okay. So we have a right triangle. It looks like we have, this is telling us we have hypotenuses congruent, right? We have right angles. What's the next thing we need?
AC is congruent to AC.
Okay. So we have everything we need to say that triangle ACB and triangle ACD, whoops, are congruent through hypotenuse length. Because we have two congruent triangles, we can pick a pair of corresponding parts. In this case, angle BAC and DAC. They are congruent because they are corresponding parts of congruent triangles, so they must be congruent.
That was a lot of statements.
Wait, Miss Holmes. Wait, never mind.
Glad I could help, Sam.
Wait, Miss Hogan,
Just, there are three C's.
next year, we won't all be in the same class, right?
You'll be in classes with sophomores.
What's the chance of me being in a class
We'll be in
with like one person here?
Pretty
Well, we
chance,
feel like all the people.
Like, what about two?
lesser of a chance.
What about-
I don't know how many sections. There are.
algebra 2 classes?
So honors algebra 2, there's quite a few classes of it, and I don't know if at the high school they try to keep you between a certain number of teachers because you're on freshman teams or not. I do know that algebra 2 is one of the best math classes.
Is that 'cause you
I've taught all of the math classes. Algebra 2, I did. Yeah.
3 years.
Why wouldn't they keep us all in the
Three,
same class?
10.
Oh.
For
There's
10
nine of
years.
us.
It's just how you guys will be split up onto different teams. There's 4 teams. Here at this school, hey, listen, here at this school, they kept you all in the same team because there's only one teacher that teaches the algebra or the geometry for 7th and 8th grade respectively. What? Now, that is me. Hey, at the high school, they mix you in with the sophomores. And so there are several teachers that you could have.
What's wrong with Virginia, Sam?
Yes.
Wouldn't there be other algebra students that would come from
They
different
do.
schools?
It's like.
So there could be like 1 or 2 from Liberty, but not any other.
Well,
I mean,
why is it like that?
Virginia.
Because I assume there's other people who are also good at math
Boy, what
that go to different schools.
so there's only
No, you
3
follow
middle
them.
schools in
Yeah.
Papillion. Us, Liberty, and PMS.
Look at
PMS goes to Papio South, and Liberty splits between the 2 schools.
They can have a class of 20 and just throw.
Okay.
I was in geography club.
You were?
Yeah.
What did you teach?
I taught calculus from
Oh,
2. Last year was the first year I didn't teach it at the high school level, but I taught it over the summer. So yes, technically I still teach it.
Timothy, you still
Wait,